What do a map that shows Antarctica before it was discovered, a man who somehow existed in a country that never existed, and a coded book no one in human history has ever been able to read have in common? They're not sci-fi, they're not conspiracies, they're real, documented, and buried in history's weirdest rabbit holes. From ancient nuclear wars to time-traveling visitors to a medieval manuscript that defies all logic. This is the countdown of the top 10 craziest historical rabbit holes ever, and number 1 might literally rewrite history as we know it. Kicking things off, at number 10, have you ever heard of the man from Taured? It's one of the strangest rabbit holes in history, and it starts at an airport. In 1954, a man landed at Tokyo's Haneda Airport. He looked normal, had a passport, spoke French, and claimed he was from Taured. The customs officers were confused because Taured didn't exist, at least not on our maps. The man insisted Taured was a real country between France and Spain, basically where Andorra is. He even pointed to it on the map. His passport had stamps from around the world. His wallet had multiple currencies. It all looked legit. But the more they questioned him, the weirder it got. Authorities held him in a hotel overnight with guards outside. But the next morning, he was gone. Vanished. No trace. Passport, documents, everything disappeared. The room was locked. No one saw him leave. Some say he was a time traveler. Others think he slipped in from a parallel universe. Or maybe it was just a government cover-up. No records, no name, just poof, gone. So was he real, a hoax, or proof we're living in a multiverse? One thing's for sure, the man from Taured is one of the internet's wildest mysteries. Once you fall into this rabbit hole, good luck climbing out. Coming up next at number 9, what if I told you a map from 1513 shows parts of Antarctica before it was even discovered? This is the Piri Reis Map, created by an Ottoman admiral using ancient sources, and it's one of the wildest historical rabbit holes ever. First off, it's shockingly accurate for a 500-year-old map. It shows South America's east coast perfectly, Africa's shoreline, even some weirdly accurate ice-free landmass where modern-day Antarctica is. Thing is, Antarctica wasn't officially discovered until 1820, and it sure wasn't mapped without ice. So how did Piri Reis do it? He claimed to have used older maps, some possibly from the time of Alexander the Great, and maybe even older than that. Some say ancient lost civilizations, like Atlantis, might have had advanced knowledge of the world. Historians? Skeptical. Conspiracy theorists? That obsessed. From aliens to time travelers, everyone's got a theory, but no one knows for sure. The Piri Reis Map is a centuries-old mystery that keeps rewriting the past, and the deeper you look, the weirder it gets. Next up at number 8, imagine a book so mysterious, no one's ever been able to read it. Not even AI. That's the Voynich Manuscript, and it's one of the wildest rabbit holes in history. Discovered in 1912, this ancient book is written in a completely unknown language and filled with drawings of weird plants, naked women in green pools, and astrological charts that make no sense. No one knows who wrote it. No one knows why. And the Anitri 240 pages? Still undeciphered after centuries of study. Some think it's an old herbal medicine guide. Others say it's a lost language. And then there are those who think it's an elaborate hoax or even a message from aliens. Yep, aliens. Cryptographers, historians, codebreakers, even the NSA have tried to crack it. Every theory? Dead end. Every page? Just more mystery. And here's the craziest part. We don't even know if it's meant to be understood, or if it's just a really old practical joke. The Voynich Manuscript is a big secret itself. Up next, at number 7, did ancient civilizations have nukes? Sounds insane, right? But welcome to one of the craziest rabbit holes in history, the ancient nuclear war theory, and it all starts in Mohenjo-Daro. This ancient city, over 4,000 years old, lies in modern-day Pakistan, and when archaeologists unearthed it, they were stunned. Streets perfectly planned, brick buildings, even a sewage system, way ahead of its time. But here's where things get wild. Some skeletons were found lying face down in the streets, hand in hand, with no signs of trauma, almost as if something instantly wiped them out. And the kicker? Some rocks and structures showed signs of being exposed to intense heat, like fusion-level heat. Cue the conspiracy theories. Some say it looks like the aftermath of a nuclear blast. They even point to ancient Indian texts like the Mahabharata, which describe a blinding light, hotter than 1,000 suns, and iron thunderbolts that flattened cities. Sound familiar? Now, scientists say it was probably just natural disasters or ancient warfare. But believers, they say we're looking at evidence of a forgotten high-tech civilization, or even ancient aliens. So, was Mohenjo-Daro the site of the first nuclear war on Earth? We may never know. But one thing's for sure, this ancient city holds secrets that keep historians, scientists, and conspiracy lovers up at night. And that's why Mohenjo-Daro is one of the deepest, weirdest, and coolest rabbit holes in history. Next up at number 6, what if I told you ancient aliens might have crash-landed in China 12,000 years ago? That's the bizarre legend of the Dropa stones, a mystery so strange it'll make your brain do backflips. Back in the 1930s, explorers claimed they found hundreds of circular stone discs in a remote cave in the Bayanhar Mountains. Each one had a perfect hole in the center, like a stone record, and, get this, tiny spiral grooves full of microscopic symbols. Supposedly, when decoded, they told the story of aliens. A group called the Dropa, who crash-landed on Earth, couldn't repair their ship and were hunted by locals before finally making peace. But here's where it gets juicy. The professor who translated them, he vanished. The museum that housed the stones, gone. And no one's seen the stones in decades. Some say it's all a hoax. Others swear it's a government cover-up. But the Dropa stones keep popping up in UFO forums, conspiracy books, and late-night YouTube binges. Real? Fake? Ancient aliens? Who knows? But one thing's for sure. The Dropa stones are one of the wildest rabbit holes in history. So, do you believe? Halfway there at number 5, a secret tomb, rivers of Mercury, and a trap-laden underground palace that's never been opened? Yeah, this is one of history's wildest rabbit holes. Let's talk about the tomb of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, the guy who united China, built parts of the Great Wall, and tried to live forever. He died in 210 BCE, but what he left behind, that's where things get crazy. His tomb is more than just a burial site. It's a buried empire, surrounded by the famous terracotta army, over 8,000 life-size soldiers, each with a unique face, guarding his afterlife. But here's where it goes full conspiracy mode. Ancient texts say the tomb contains an underground palace with a ceiling of stars made of pearls and flowing rivers of liquid mercury that map out his empire. Mercury in a tomb. Why? Well, Qin Shi Huang believed Mercury had life-giving powers. Ironically, it probably helped kill him, but scientists have actually detected high levels of mercury in the soil above the tomb. So yeah, it might be real. And get this, no one's opened it. Why? Archaeologists are scared they'll damage it or trigger ancient traps. Yeah, booby traps. Straight out of Indiana Jones. What's in there? Advanced tech? Ancient secrets? Alien stuff? We don't know. The Chinese government has forbidden excavation for now. So, the tomb of Qin Shi Huang remains untouched, like a Gaint time capsule buried for over 2,000 years. A sealed underground kingdom filled with rivers of poison and mystery? Yeah, the rabbit hole goes deep. And maybe one day, we'll finally find out what's really inside. Next up, at number 4, what if I told you there's a man in history who never died? Meet the Count of Saint Germain, Europe's most mysterious man, alchemist, musician, spy, and possibly immortal. He popped up in the 1700s, dazzling royals with diamonds, fluent in every language, never eating in public, and always looking young, like suspiciously young. He told people he was 500 years old, that he could transmute metals, and somehow nobody ever saw him age. But here's where it gets wild. After he died in 1784, people kept seeing him in France, in Russia, in New Orleans. Even in the 1970s, a mysterious man named Saint Germain showed up, claiming he was the same one. New Age believers say he's an ascended master. Some say he's from Atlantis. Others think he faked his death and found the secret to eternal life. Every record of him leads to another rabbit hole. He was pals with Casanova and Voltaire, rumored to be at Jesus' crucifixion. And maybe, just maybe, time traveling? So who was he really? A genius conman? A secret society alchemist? Or was the Count of Saint Germain truly immortal? One thing's for sure, the deeper you dig, the stranger it gets. And trust me, this is one rabbit hole you won't come back from. Up next at number 3, imagine you're sippy tea in Siberia. Then boom, an explosion 1,000 times more powerful than Hiroshima rocks the sky. No crater, no impact, just trees flattened for miles. Welcome to the weirdest mystery you've never learned in school. The Tunguska Event. On June 30th, 1908, something exploded over the Tunguska River in Russia. It leveled 80 million trees across 800 square miles. But get this, no one ever found a meteorite. No rock, no crater, just scorched earth and theories that'll blow your mind harder than the blast itself. The official guess? A space rock, about 200 feet wide, exploded midair, 5 miles above the ground. But here's the thing, scientists didn't investigate until 19 years later. No photos, no real-time data, just local stories of a fireball in the sky and reindeer getting vaporized. Sounds scientific? Kinda. Convincing? Not really. And here's where it gets deliciously weird. Aliens testing weapons? Nikola Tesla firing his death ray from New York? A black hole grazing Earth? Some even think it was antimatter or a mini wormhole. It's like the universe hit Earth's random button, then dipped. So what really happened in Tunguska? No one knows for sure. But if you ever see the sky flash and the ground shake, you might have just entered your own rabbit hole. Coming up next at number 2, imagine this. Deep in Nazi-occupied Poland, a massive bell-shaped machine hums with energy, glowing violet, pulsing with mystery. They called it Die Glocke, the bell. And oh boy, this thing is straight out of science fiction. Some say it was a top-secret Nazi experiment. Others, they think it was a time machine, a portal, a weapon, or all three. The bell was supposedly housed in a hidden facility near the Wenceslas mine. Scientists worked on it under the codename Kronos. Yeah, as in the Greek god of time. Coincidence? I think not. It allegedly used a red mercury-like substance called Zerum 525, and when activated, the bell would levitate, emit radiation, and distort time and space. Yep, gravity-bending, time-warping madness. But here's where it gets wild. After the war, the bell vanished. Some claim it was whisked away by the US during Operation Paperclip. Others say it was buried, or even launched into space. Eyewitnesses described seeing strange lights, animals dying near the site, scientists mysteriously disappearing. It's like Stranger Things, but real. Maybe? Was Die Glocke a failed experiment, Nazi sci-fi, or the biggest cover-up in history? One thing's for sure, the Nazi bell is one of the craziest rabbit holes you'll ever fall into. Once you hear about it, you can't unhear it. At last but not least, what if I told you there's a secret vault in the Vatican? So secret, most people will never see what's inside. Yep, we're talking about the Vatican Apostolic Archives, formerly called the Secret Archives, and for good reason. This place is like the Fort Knox of hidden knowledge. It holds over 50 miles of shelves packed with documents, some dating back over 1,200 years. That's longer than most countries have even existed. Want to read about the trial of Galileo, the excommunication of Martin Luther, or even letters from Henry VIII begging for a divorce? It's all locked in here, and you can't just waltz in. You need special permission, and even then you only get access to specific documents. No browsing, no selfies, no TikToks. But here's where it gets wild. Conspiracy theorists believe the archives hide proof of aliens, ancient technology, or even the true fate of Jesus Christ. Some even think there's evidence of secret pacts with world leaders, and documents so explosive they could rewrite history. And guess what? No one really knows, because they're not telling us. It's like the ultimate historical cliffhanger. Every locked vault just leads to more questions. Whether you're into history, mystery, or Da Vinci Code level drama, the Vatican's archives might be the deepest, most delicious rabbit hole on Earth. We may never know what's truly inside, but hey, maybe that's part of the magic, or the cover-up.